Hey everybody, HMV here, playing more Kerbal Space Program, and it is about 70 days after the last episode ended. We are launching a ship here to Dres. I just deleted the alarm to it, so it's not up on the list anymore. The ideal launch window passed about 20 minutes ago, game time. This ship is ideally situated to, if I launch it at the correct time, which is just after sunset, but I figured I would come in and watch the sunset with you. If I launch it just after sunset, we can basically get this thing to Dres without touching the controls until we get out of the atmosphere. So in 3, 2, 1, launch. We're letting this solid... And these are going to blow up, so don't be scared when they do. This solid's going to get us up to about 130 or so kilometers of an apoapsis. And then we are going to coast up to that apoapsis. Here comes the explosions. We're going to coast up to that apoapsis and then ditch all this stuff. And there's a solid under this, which is going to boost us possibly past Dres. And then we'll have to fix that with the engine, which is way overpowered for Dres. This is basically, these two stages will get us anywhere in the system, along with the triflingly small amount of fuel in the payload. And this is a very simple probe. It's just it's just the cheapest thing that can get us orbiter flyby of far off places. Mostly, I want to hit these places in case there's anomalies on them. I want to enable the ability for those anomalies to show up in my contract list. We are out of the atmosphere. We're going to ditch everything here. And here's the ship. Like I said, it's just a solid rocket booster with a tiny little payload. Let's go ahead and set up our maneuver node. We can actually moderately plan this whole trip here to Dres. Oh, we got a moon encounter. That's no good at all. This is very sensitive to the initial conditions. Notice we actually get more thrust if we go later, but we can't go too much later because we're not in orbit, remember. This actually would give us a too low of a periapsis. I might just do this burn and then fix everything else later. This stage here that's coming up is only going to take 23.7 seconds. So, and I actually added this here so I can see multiple stages. So I think what we're going to do here is this node burn is 25 and we only have this. So what we're going to do is right before the node, maybe 30 seconds before, which is actually right about now, I'm going to hit the space bar. We're going to actually get this going here. I got to watch my power. I'm actually going to hit the backspace key to open up the solar panels. Because even if we run out of power right now, we'll basically be going in the right direction. So we're not actually in the sun anymore. But as soon as this engine goes... See, we're not out of the Kerbin system yet. Oh, actually, we are out of the Kerbin system already. So I'm going to actually cut this engine here. We're actually going to have a flyby of the moon, which is interesting. But I don't think it's anything to particularly worry about. But we might want to... Let's delete this maneuver node. We got time to fiddle, right? This is what NASA does with their missions. If we burn at moon instead of Kerbin as we fly by, it's more meters per second. Okay, what if instead we do everything here? What if we burn out to get to Dres? That is a ridiculously expensive burn. However, we have the fuel. This is also a learning experience because I'm going to be sending this thing to Jool, and I want to learn when to burn. And obviously, I wanted to burn much more after midnight. Or after midnight, after sunset. Maybe even as much as an hour after sunset. So that's nice to know. But we're going to do this burn. It's not going to happen for 151 days. We're going to actually launch to Moho before that. So I'm going to get this guy through Moon's Sphere of Influence here. And then out of Kerbin's sphere of influence. And then we're going to launch a very similar ship to Moho. So let's do that now. Okay, we are an hour after sunrise. So we're going to try this here and see if this is a good launch window. We're going to Moho this time. So in 3, 2, 1, launch. You've already seen this ship launch once, so I will see you when we are doing the burn in space. Okay, it looks like half hour is about as... Or, sorry, an hour after sunset is about as bad as launching at sunset or sunrise. So I think a half hour is correct. However, because we launched too early, we can actually burn early to get out of here. And we're going to burn about 20 seconds before. And this burn, I haven't planned it very well, but this is about what we're going to get. I should probably hit the backspace key to open my solar panels. There we go. This burn is about what we're going to get. Go ahead and hold that maneuver node. 20 seconds. This burn is about what we're going to need to get to Moho. So we're going to have plenty of extra fuel to tweak our orbit once we get out there. So we'll worry about that when the time comes, is basically what I'm saying. Let's set Moho as our target. Let's focus on the sun. No, just not gonna bother showing me a Moho encounter? Okay, fine. Oh, that is actually really close, isn't it? Yeah, you know what? This we can tweak. So let's go ahead. This is our burn's in 1 minute and 40 seconds. We're just going to do this one so we get close enough so we can figure out what we're doing when the time comes here. Now these guys don't have to go into orbit. I hate how the aim at the maneuver node thing doesn't actually aim at the maneuver node. Like, I do a better job with my keyboard than the computer does. But here we go. We're burning down. I'm ready to hit X the moment everything starts to go to pot. There we go. We're going to delete this, and now out here, we're going to do a mid-course correction. There we go. Boom. Flyby, we can deal with. So there's his maneuver node. His solar panels are open. I'm going to actually rename this guy. I forgot to rename the other guy. Moho probe. And also we are going to... This is our Dres probe. And I'm going to do all this off camera. I'll come back when we're ready to go to Jool, because that's the next fun thing. I'm going to do a couple of I'm going to do these burns here, but you don't need to see that. The next big thing is our Kerbin Jool. We're sending 3 ships up, and I'm going to show you what those 3 ships are. I can do one of them early, and then the other 2 have to launch at the Jool window. Okay, and the next ship here to lift here, launch into orbit, is called the 2K Ore Lifter, and I'll tell you why we need that after I hit 3, 2, 1, launch. This guy, the ship we're sending to Jool, I took some contracts in order to help pay for it, even though I have somewhere in the vicinity of $5 million in the bank. I'm still doing the must be able to afford whatever we're sending into space sort of thing, because that's the thrust of this entire thing is doing these contracts. That's why we're going to Jool, is to complete these contracts. So I put a station in orbit around the sun, because hey, we're going to Jool, we're going to be in orbit around the sun, we might as well make a profit off that, right? So I took this station contract without really reading the fine print, as you do sometimes, and the fine print said that it needed 2,000 units of ore in it. And I don't know about you, but I ain't launching 2,000 units of ore off the surface of Kerbin with an otherwise, 100 and some odd ton ship. So this is my 2-ton ore lifter, or 2,000 unit ore lifter. He is going to go up to Minmus, land at the surface base up there, and fill his tanks with ore, and take care of business, basically. His entire job is to have ore ready when the main ship comes, so he can load up that main ship with ore. That also changes what I'm doing with the main ship. The main ship wasn't actually going to go to Minmus. He was going to just launch up to low Kerbal orbit, refuel at the station there, the station that's in low Kerbal orbit, and then launch from there directly to Jool. Now he has to go get up into low Kerbal orbit, refuel there, then burn up to Minmus, and then from Minmus, once he's loaded up with fuel at Minmus and the ore obviously at Minmus, then launch from there to go to Jool. Minmus is kind of on the horizon, tantalizingly thinking maybe I could just burn to it. But I'm not going to. And we're in space, so let's ditch everything. This guy's super simple. He's just a fuel tank with 2,000 meters per second in it right now, which is more than enough to get to Minmus. When he loads up with fuel, he has like 600 or 800 meters per second, which is more than enough to get off the surface of Minmus into orbit. He doesn't need solar panels. He's actually got a nuke core to him, which is pretty awesome. Okay, we're just gonna get ourselves an orbit. It doesn't have to be a good one. Oh god, these things are so loud. I have to actually turn my own volume down. There goes our ascent stage. We're gonna let it crash back into the planet. And as usual, you've seen me get to Minmus before. I am going to not bore you with the details. I will come back when we are actually getting this guy to Minmus and he is set to go. Okay, we're coming down here over Minmus, and we are 3 minutes away from a burn that will bring us to a halt a few hundred meters over the station. I see our screenshot. Possibly. Station's right there. Let's go ahead and set it as a target just to have it done. I think I'm going to wait till right at this burn here because we're going to do it as perfectly as possible. It should basically bring us to a stop right over the station. But of course not. And guess what I brought? You'll never believe what I brought. If you said monoprop, you're right. I brought monoprop on purpose. Looks like this might be a little bit expensive on the monoprop to keep this thing going this way. So I might actually use the engines here. Now, I also have a new mod. I can thrust limit my engines any way I want. And I'm going to be doing that. So you notice our thrust to weight here, according to Minmus, is 15.78. Now, if I thrust limit these guys down to 25%, our thrust to weight is 3, which is a lot easier to control what happens. Okay, now we're coming down exactly... I should have monoprop off as we do this. We're coming in exactly east or west of the station. I don't know what. And we're gonna do this the easy way. We're gonna land, and then take care of figuring out. I think I'm gonna thrust limit up a little bit to make sure we don't crash. Got plenty of fuel. Don't really need to worry about fuel. God, we're coming in so nicely according to this docking port, but still, I'm gonna do this the right way here. See, a combination of thrust limiting and throttling is going to enable me to more accurately control my downward velocity here. Okay. We need to control from here. So everything's backwards. We need to set this as a target. And we are aimed perfectly at it. We are maintaining this. So what we're going to do is we're going to thrust limit ourselves down to about 30% or so. That gets our thrust to weight ratio at about 4 and change. So if we throttle up until we just leave the surface, there we go. turn the RCS on, and then thrust this way. Okay, we're... Yeah, see, I need to be in chase. No, I need to be in locked. There we go. This is what we want. I need to make sure we're heading towards the docking port. And we're not going up or down, ideally. And now that we're over the docking port, turn the throttle off, and then come down on it. And you can see our shadow. Everything's working beautifully. Okay. Bam! We are docked, and we are loading up stuff. We should already have our fuel set. We should also already have our RCS set. Now all we need is to get our ore set. And what we're going to do here is we're going to turn off the converter. Because all we need, ideally, we want this ore. See, it already says 3,000, so we actually don't need to, collect any more ore. So I can actually turn this off. And I think I'm actually going to stop all the drills. Let's find the drills on here. I don't know what the drills are called. Drill-o-matic, mining excavator. Let's actually stop the surface harvester. There was only 2 of those, though. So that means that there's more. Yeah. So we're going to... we already did that. So we're going to stop surface harvester. These guys are no longer drilling now. Because these guys actually have 2,100 units of ore available. And we only want to fill up, ideally, exactly 2,000. Because everything... Oh, and look at that. I already screwed that up. But I can just unload. So this guy, we only want 200 in this guy. So what we want to do is transfer out until this gets to 200. Whoa, 205. Hopefully in will be a little bit slower. It is 209. 203. You know what? I'm going to call that good. Okay, now this guy is full of fuel. If we undock here, undock, come back to him. We need to thrust limit his engines up again. And then we will see that our thrust to weight is 3. Actually, no, that's our suicide burn. Our thrust to weight is 3.37, which is perfectly fine. Now, we just got to get this guy into orbit. He doesn't need to match up with the station or anything. So we're going to hit Z. And then slowly tilt ourselves around here. We're going to have to miss. There is stuff on the horizon over here that we're going to have to miss. We don't need the HUD anymore. But we're just going to get this guy back up into orbit, and then he is going to be ready to dock to the main ship when it comes up here and give the main ship this ore. That's the idea. That way, the main ship doesn't have to carry that ore all the way up here from Kerbin. We're saving a lot of fuel doing that. Okay, I was gonna leave you until I was launching my Jool probe, but I burned here to get a nice close intersect here, and trajectory says I'm not gonna hit anything. Now I've hit F5, so this won't count if I crash, but I just want to see how close I get and if I actually crash. Let's go into free mode. This is probably gonna be kind of crazy. I don't even know which direction we're going. We're going this way. Okay, let's watch this guy and see what happens here. We're going down below the mountaintops, I'll tell you that much. It's about 4,000 some odd kilometers is our periapsis. Our periapsis is, under 4,000, 3,892 meters, I should say. Sorry, not kilometers. Okay, we can't go any faster than 10 times. There is a huge mountain coming up. I'm going to cheat here and turn ambient light up even more so we can see better. Okay, looks like we are going to clear this, possibly through this little gap here. Now, we would have cleared this as well. Okay, there's another big mountain coming up. And my cat is telling me, you might want to thrust. But like I said, we have quick saved. Oh boy. Oh God, and there's another mountain here. Oh, that is awesome. We are meters off the ground, and now we are clear. We're coming back up. That was cool. I'm so glad I did that. Okay, and we are back. I've decided this is the last thing I'm going to do in this episode. We're going to make next episode all about the big Jool ship, which is launching in about 100 days. We usually want to give it about 50 days of time to get up to Minmus, to wait for Minmus to get in the right location, and then to launch from Minmus so that we can swing around and head out to Jool from there. So, but before that, this guy's getting into Moho. So this is the last thing we're going to do. And I have a very, very tight encounter with Moho that, according to the Trajectories mod, will not crash. The Trajectories mod did not lie to me at Minmus, so I am going to assume it's not going to lie to me here. I am, though, going to hit F5 just to make sure I get all the science. Because I want to make sure that we get this science transmitted from both high and low over Moho, because there's a pretty good chance we're never coming back. And now we're in the sphere of influence, so let's go ahead and go bam, bam, bam. Transmit, transmit, transmit. Yeah, see, if we're going to crash, we're never going to get this stuff transmitted in time. Yeah, it takes a long time to transmit. And low over Moho is fairly low. It's really annoying that the antenna has to go down and then back up. I think you can say keep, and then right-click the antenna and say transmit all. Which actually means I'm going to bring up this mod and have the Communitron up so I can just click transmit data really quickly on it. Want to make sure that the moment science is available. Oh, actually, yeah, there are biomes on Moho, aren't there? We're seriously not low yet. We're high. Oh, there we go. Boom, boom, boom. Keep. Transmit all data. Boom, boom, boom. Keep. We probably didn't need to transmit this data. I do not see how we're not going to crash. 50%, 100%, it's done. 50%, 75%, 100%, it's done. And I'm going to consider that a success because we transmitted all the data. Let's go back to the tracking station, or back to the Space Center, and make sure that that's actually the case. Yeah, we missed 2 gravity scans just above Moho's Midlands, mostly because it was transmitting at the time, and we never got a chance to take another one. But we did retrieve all the data we could have from everywhere. Because if you look in Space High, we also only got the 1. So we got everything we expected to get from Moho. We weren't going to be able to orbit it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I'm going to say that's good. We're going to delete this from the Moho probe, and that's it. When I come back next episode, we are going to be launching to Jool. I'm excited. I hope you are too. I'm HMV, and I will, as always, talk at you later.